21 at the end of the first half. Went up big by 16, and all of a sudden the Huskies caught fire. Just simple. Scott Curious on a layup, and the next thing you know, they ran off 24 of the next 28 points to take the lead. And we're actually up by 7 with a minute to go, and that's when the free throws came into play, Mark. Coach Lindo was not happy with his squad. 11 of 30 from the line allowed the Saints to get within a point. As a matter of fact, the Saints could have tied it. Ben Zeitz had a free throw on a three-point play, had a free throw with 23 seconds left, missed it. They played back and forth, and the Saints weren't able to get a shot off at the buzzer. But what a great game, and the intensity here tonight. I'm excited. I got to say that again, Mark. There's not been this kind of magnitude for a basketball game between Central and North in the history of either one of those schools. They have never faced each other this late in the year. They've met for a regional championship, but never with what's at stake tonight in a trip to DeKalb for the Super Sectional and one of the final 16 spots in the state.
Central won the first 2 games between these 2 ball clubs. They won a conference opener. They won later on this year. Let me ask you now, Steve, the semifinal game against St. Charles. The Saints came out in the first half against North, 7-0 run, 11-0 run. Naperville North can't afford to do that tonight against Central.
Well, they have to play some defense. They have to play good, solid defense and prevent Central from getting out on the break early. Of course, Central likes to do that. But wipe those first 2 games off the slate, Mark. This is sectional championship play. Naperville North's playing a little bit different type of basketball now, and this one's up for grabs, and it's really, really tough to beat a team for a 3rd time in one season. I'm going to go with Mark Lindo's Huskies tonight. There you go. I put it out there on the table. I said it the other night. Again, I still believe Naperville North by 3.
Oh, Steve Moga with the prediction here before the game. All right. Stick around. A sellout crowd on hand here at East Aurora. It's the sectional final between Naperville Central and Naperville North. We'll get to the starting lineups and the opening tip-off right after these words. Stay with us.
Save wear and tear on your couch? Get a family membership to the YMCA.
To keep a friend from drinking and driving, just explain things to her.
It's 6:45 and our party's at 9, and I still got shopping to do. But if you drive, you'll have to drop me off and pick me up, and then I'll be late and you won't be ready. So I'm going to drive and drop you off, and then I'm going to do all the things I need to do, and I'll be back in time to help you set things up. Okay? All right.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
The power.
We'll be all right down here.
Hey, you're gonna look much cooler smoking your opponents than you ever will smoking these.
That's why he doesn't play basketball. Welcome back to East Aurora, along with Richard Davis, Mark Kruger, and Steve Moga. We are about set for the sectional final as the starting lineups are getting introduced. The familiar 5 for Coach Bob Sturr: Tyler Turnquist, Kevin Thill, Mike Dauernheim, Mike Burke, and Matt Sandora are your starting 5. And Steve Moga, first 3 minutes of this particular ball game are going to be very, very crucial.
Well, that they are. It's Central trying to get out on the break, North trying to contain them. But don't get me wrong, Naperville North is going to play man-to-man defense from one end of the court to the other. Central's going to do that as well. But the thing about it, in their first 2 meetings, Central Central played a lot of zone. They did not respect the outside shot of Naperville North, and I think Jeff Connect and a few others certainly proved that that is not a wise strategy the other night, especially down the stretch against St. Charles. So let's see. It's going to be real interesting to see what exactly happens here defensively for both teams.
Steve, let me ask you, last year, as we get the starters for Naperville North, Scott Carius, Sean Jones, Larry Christian, Jason Buckley, and Conrad Gackey in there for Coach Mark Lindo. Steve, last year, Naperville Central made it all the way to the Super Sectionals. They were in this position before. Is that an advantage here tonight?
Well, they don't want to be reminded about that Super Sectional game. That, as Mike Berg told us, that's the F word around Naperville Central, Fremd High School. But it's going to be a seesaw battle. And it's really, I think it's going to come down to who's able to hit their outside shots tonight, Mark.
Sellout crowd certainly getting revved up here on the Naperville Central side.
Well, you mentioned the Central fans being quite boisterous. Of course, Naperville North was very boisterous, and like you said, there's never been a basketball game between the two Naperville schools with this kind of magnitude, and the fans were already trying to outdo each other during the national anthem. Mark, I don't think I've ever heard that many people singing the national anthem as we had here tonight. It sounded like just about everyone in the place was singing along, but they seem to be trying to outdo each other even in that. It's going to be not only the players, of course, and the teams and the coaches, but the fans and the pride of Naperville here tonight.
All 10 players out there right now are all seniors. They've faced each other 8 times during their years. The Huskies of Naperville North winning just 2 of those ball games. So we are about ready to get underway here. Naperville Central in white, Naperville North in their traveling blue. The officials for tonight's game, Tom Starr and Steve McGrath, and Mike Burke and Sean Jones, jump center. Controlled by the Huskies. Scott Carius and Tyler Turnquist on him. That's going to be one good matchup, Steve.
2 quick guards, 2 good ball handlers, and the 2 guys are probably going to neutralize each other. At least that's the hope of Mark Lindo and Bob Sturrs. You see a lean-in shot and a travel.
Good ball fake there by Jones, but the traveling call called by Tom Starr, and on the turnover now, Naperville Central takes over. Both teams playing in a man-to-man defense. Central getting inside to Burke. Phil will take the open 3. Good box out there by Conrad Gackey of North.
Tremendous job by Conrad Gackey. As the shot went up, he found his man, put his body on him. Conrad with a big body, of course, the fullback on the football team, an outstanding football player, and a little weight advantage there against Matt Sandor, and he boxed him out. The official called the over the back. You know, that's one thing, Mark, we touched on a lot. Tuesday was Naperville Central's height advantage over Wheaton Warrenville South. Not the case exactly here tonight. Besides Gerald Norrie, everyone else matches up pretty well for the Huskies.
Larry Christian takes it in to the lane, and we've got a foul called on Naperville Central. It's nice for Mark Lindo to have Larry Christian, a 6'5" senior, Steve, dribble the ball up the floor.
Well, that's the thing we've touched on a lot with Naperville Central. Same goes for Naperville North. Both teams, a lot of good ball handlers. Reaching foul on Tyler Turnquist. He came away with that ball. Not sure. Naperville Central side, of course, didn't like that. Tyler looked like he had a clean strip there. If nothing else, maybe a jump ball. The officials said otherwise, had him wrapped around the arm. What I was going to say there, Mark, though, was that each team has a good group of ball handlers and shooters. They pretty much have some very versatile players, guys that can do a lot of things, and they match up very well.
Huskies get it in bounds here. Opening moment of the sectional final. Christian from the outside. It's no good. Rebound to Turnquist. Central on the run. Darnheim can't get the layup, and we're going to have a jump ball situation. Central on the alternate possession.
Great job defensively at that time by Naperville North getting back. Darnheim had to change hands in midair and a little bit too hard with the left hand. Good jump call by the official.
Bob Sturr said, forget about it, throw the pass records out. It's going to be a dogfight here tonight. Sandora, low left, back on top. North with some good defense here, and open Darnheim. Inside, a Burke is knocked away. And another jump ball here. Bodies flying everywhere, Steve.
Well, the officials letting them play. That was a good, strong move, a good shot, good, strong rebound, and tied up going to the floor. The officials call a jump. And that is a big foul as Turnquist gets number 2.
Steve, the intensity level here early is so incredible, and Naperville Central with tremendous depth could be a factor.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Mark. You're reading my mind. That is the one advantage at this point that Naperville Central does have, is a much deeper bench Bob Sturr possesses. He gets about 10 players in there, and they all get to see a lot of playing time, and that is one factor. Maybe we'll see towards late in the game whether or not they're able to wear the Huskies down.
Steal by Central. Here's Mike Burke. North at the other end. Here's Conrad Gackey. Forces up a shot, gets his own rebound, and a foul. It's going to be on Mike Darnheim. So 5 team fouls on Naperville Central. Steve, we played just over 2 minutes.
We also played almost 2 minutes before either team scored. This is the type of defensive struggle we thought we would see here tonight. Both teams man-to-man in each other's face, and it's just a matter of who can keep this up a little bit longer. Well, it's said so many times, Mark, defense wins, especially in postseason, and that is going to be a key again here as usual tonight. Conrad Gackey only a 50% free throw shooter. He puts the Huskies on the board. 2-1 now. Just over 2 minutes played here in the sectional East Aurora Sectional Championship game.
Offensive rebound to Buckley, and he'll bring it out. So Gackey 1 of 2 from the line. It's 2-1. Opening moments of this sectional final. The winner, the right to go to the DeKalb Super Sectional, and a traveling called on Gackey. Two to 1, Naperville Central with the early lead here. Sellout crowd on hand. Matt Sandora, Christian guarding him. Here's Kevin Thill driving to the hoop. No bucket, but an offensive foul on Kevin Thill. That's his second. So Steve Turnquist and Thill, the starting guards, each with 2 fouls here.
Well, that was a good call by the official, good position. And Gackey with a reach in. Aaron Pembroke dug it out of there for Naperville Central. And Gackey with a pushing foul. Credit that one to Mike Burke, putting the pressure on the inbounds. The man throwing the ball inbounds. That one goes to Mike Burke.
Steve gives some credit to the officials now. They are calling it close here early. Don't want to get this one out of hand. Tom Starr and Steve McGrath, your 2 officials here tonight. Burke had the position down low, and another foul called. This one on Jason Buckley down low. That's his first and the team's second. Naperville North, the last game against St. Charles, the sectional semifinal, shooting only 38% from the field as Gackey slaps it out of bounds, and that has to be a concern for Coach Lindo, Steve.
Well, obviously, in the close games, you got to hit your free throws. That was what made Wednesday night's victory so amazing, to hit only 11 of 30 and come out ahead 51-50. But in a defensive struggle in a game that's going to be as tense as Turnquist for the long one, you're going to need to hit your free throws down the stretch.
Gackey connects on the pull-up from the free throw line, and that gives North its first lead of the night, 3-2. Here's Mike Burke. The inside move is no good. Rebound to Sean Jones. Jones pulls it out to Gackey, and he traveled. So on the turnover here now, Naperville Central takes over. 4:47 left to go here in the opening quarter. We've had 8 foul calls already. Steve mentioned Aaron Pembroke into the ball game after serving a 4-game disciplinary suspension.
Well, also, the thing that could come into play as far as Aaron Pembroke is concerned, if you haven't played in 4 games, that's pretty much the last 2 weeks, a week and a half. He has not played in a regular game. You can practice all you want. It's not quite the same as in a game. It's like throwing in the bullpen. It's not exactly the same as it is out there on the mound. And it may take him a few minutes to really get into the flow of things here and get his game, get back on his game and get things going. But the officials here trying to take charge of things. They made some of the players move down. They said to both coaches, hey, you've got a certain amount of area to walk, and that's all we want to see of you. We do not want to see you standing and walking halfway down the court throughout this game. So they both said, hey, keep things in line, and that's what they were doing.
An open 3 for Turnquist is short. Rebound is to Larry Christian. This is Buckley. His shot is no good. Rebound to Sandora. Up quickly to Turnquist. Central pushing the ball up. Pembroke.
Great job by Aaron Pembroke. He filled the lane, spotted up towards the corner, and like I said, it may take him a little while to get on his game, Mark. He got a good pass that time at Turnquist. He drew the defender, and right in the flow of things, Pembroke right up with the jumper and buried it. 4-3 Central back on top.
Pembroke, the leading scorer, averaging over 11 points per game. The shot is no good by Larry Christian, but a foul at the other end by Naperville Central. It's going to be on Pembroke, and it's the team 7th, and a big 6'8" transfer from Simeon High School, Gerald Norrie, in there replacing Mike Burke. So Larry Christian at the free throw line here for 2 shots. Christian, a 65% free throw shooter, hits the first one.
It'll be interesting now to see how Gerald Norrie goes to work down low with his height advantage. See how the Redhawks play it in the half-court offense. They try and get it inside to him as they did to Burke.
It's 5-4 Naperville North, as we've got a seesaw battle here in the early going. An open Pembroke. It went off of a Naperville North defender. It will stay Redhawks basketball.
Your attention, no mechanical noisemakers are allowed in the gymnasium. If it is found, you will be
3:47 left to play here in the opening quarter. First substitution for Naperville North, Max Hansen checking into the ballgame, a 6-foot junior to replace Conrad Gackey. Phil back on top. They swing it over to an open Turnquist, and he buries it. A 3-pointer for Turnquist.
What tremendous ball movement that time by Naperville Central. They got the defense moving back and forth, and right in the flow of things, Turnquist with the 3-pointer.
Here's Christian coming the other way. From the free throw line, it gets the kind roll. So Larry Christian with 4, and we're tied at 7. Here's Pembroke as he drives, tries to give it up to Norrie, loose on the floor to Sean Jones.
There weren't too many dark jerseys around him as soon as he rolled to the basket now, were there? That is obviously what the Mark Lindo's squad is going to do. Anytime they get it down low towards the big man, everybody's going to come to help out. This is a type of game right now in the half-court situation, the half-court set that Naperville Central loves, Mark. Right there you see a great indication of the ball being passed around the perimeter where they can get in the passing lanes and knock the ball away and possibly get some fast breaks.
Coach Sturr showing that depth as he brings in Pat Collins. Mike Darnheim back into the ball game as well. And a foul at the other end. It's going to be on Naperville North.
Also into the Huskies lineup, Mr. Kruger is a Jerry Hairston, son of former Chicago White Sox player Jerry Hairston Sr., I guess you would call him at this point. To give Carius a rest. Good hustle that time by Sean Jones.
Ties up Pembroke. Jump ball situation goes to Naperville Central. So the Huskies with Hanson, Hairston, Buckley, Jones. There's a turnaround by Norrie, no good. And also Larry Christian out there for Coach Lindo. This is Hairston. We're tied at 7. 2.5 left to play here in the opening quarter. The sectional final. Naperville North and Naperville Central. Hanson's fadeaway is no good. Rebound to Pembroke. Darnheim looking to get it inside to Norrie. The open three by Darnheim. And the rebound is cleared by Buckley of North.
Boy, did Aaron Pembroke launch that one, Mark. He was well out there. Good strong move and the basket. Jerry Hairston took it to the hole, drew the foul.
I'm sure Jerry Hairston Sr. is certainly liking that one. Foul is on Pat Collins. That is his first. So Hairston at the free throw line, trying to convert the three-point play, and he does. And it's 10-7, the Huskies with a three-point lead. Well, Steve Moga, if this is the final score, your prediction would be exactly right. Norrie and an offensive foul on the big guy as Jason Buckley held his position.
The exact same move that Gerald Norrie did the last time he got the ball. He faked to his left, spun to his right, that drop step that we saw so many times the other night. And Jason Buckley said, hey, I know what he's going to do. And he stepped up and just stood his ground and drew the charge. What a big play by number 51.
So North with the ball leading by 3. The outside shot is good by Jones. So Sean Jones, who was 0 for 9 in the semifinal game against St. Charles, hits the open jumper. That shot by Pembroke won't go. And North with the 5-point lead here at 12-7. Here's Jones again. And a whistle, Steve, but there's going to be a foul, and it looks like it's going to be on Gerald Norrie, Steve. Or it looks like he was just on the end line. I think he was out. Yeah, that's the call.
Good aggressive rebound that time, though, by Gerald Norrie. He went strong to get that basketball. Hit off, went to the long side, and Gerald Norrie was on the shot side of the basket. Got over there to the weak side to scramble for that ball, but he was on the end line as the Huskies throw it away, trying to force it inside. Just over a minute to go here in the first quarter, Mark. It's been everything we thought it would be.
We've got 3 more quarters to go. Rebound pulled down by Larry Christian on the missed shot attempt by Norrie. Christian with a spin move is stripped by Collins, and we're going to have a foul call. I believe it's going to be on Jerry Hairston. That will be his first and the team's 4th.
You know, one thing that Larry Christian has to keep in mind is he's at the top of the key with the ball. If he makes a move, if he goes one side or the other, the weak side guard so many times is going to come over to double team or trap the ball, and you cannot turn your back on the other defender or the basket and try a little spin move there at the top of the key. If you're going to do it, go do it, but he hesitated, and the ball was slapped away from him. The other thing, the last trip down here, Gerald Norrie had the little guy, Hairston, underneath him. Go to the rim. Go straight up. He was spading towards the baseline. Actually shot that ball from behind the backboard. Go straight up. You're 6'8". Use your height.
Scott Lashinsky in there for Naperville North. The drive by Kevin Thill. And we're going to have a foul called against Larry Christian. Larry Christian, an all-state soccer performer this year, Steve. And Kevin Thill will be at the line to shoot a pair.
Scott Lashinsky, Mark, really pushing and shoving inside there with Gerald Norrie. Of course, he not only gives up 4 inches, but he gives up almost 35 pounds. Actually, I correct myself, almost 45 pounds to Gerald Norrie. And Gerald right now talking to Conrad Gackey, saying nobody's going to be pushing anybody around in here tonight.
Kevin Thill, a 67% free throw shooter, hits the first one. He's in the scoring column. It's 12-8 Naperville North with 40 seconds left to play here in the opening quarter. Second one rattles home for Thill. And we're going to have a foul called here in the backcourt. And it's going to be on Pembroke. That's going to be Aaron's second. So 2 personal fouls on Pembroke, Turnquist, and Kevin Thill. 12-9, it's North by 3.
You know, one thing that's clearly evident right now, Mark, is the fact that Central being aggressive and being the type of game this is, it's tough. It's tough sometimes to be aggressive but not be out of control. And they've been out of control in a few instances, and they've gotten into foul trouble. But that is their trademark. They've gotten in people's faces all year defensively. They've just had the athleticism and the depth to beat 25 of, or rather I should say 26 of 28 opponents. And right now, though, it's playing against them. They have several players, 3 as a matter of fact, Turnquist, Thill, and Pembroke with 2 fouls each, and they all have to take a seat.
Hansen, a 70% free throw shooter, misses the front end of the 1-1 here. Half a minute left to play here in the opening quarter. It's Naperville North with the 3-point lead at 12-9. Turnquist and Carius up top. Here's Mike Burke from the free throw line. It falls. So Mike Burke with 4, and it's a 1-point North lead.
What a nice soft touch by the big guys. He curled off the high pick there and just came to the ball and hit the jumper. What do you think now here as we're going to end the first quarter?
The outside shot is short. Rebound to Ryan Crowley, and we played 1 quarter of basketball here at East Aurora with the number 2 seeded Huskies leading the number 1 seeded Redhawks by 1, 12-11. We'll take this break and come back in just a moment.
Janine woke up in a cold sweat. She remembered that she'd gone to a party the night before and gotten smashed out of her mind. The question is, who was this guy in her bathroom? What did he look like? What had they done? How had she gotten herself into this mess? What about AIDS? Then, much to her relief, Janine realized that unlike the rest of us, she was just a cartoon. Get high, get stupid, get AIDS.
Raising kids is a tough job. Careful. But one of its rewards comes from the IRS. It's the Earned Income Credit. If you had a child living with you and earned less than $23,050 in 1993, you could receive up to $2,364. Advance payments could put that money right in your regular paycheck. Read about the Earned Income Credit in your tax package. Or call the IRS at 1-800-TAX-1040 to see if you've got some credit coming.
This is where they partied, where Denise met Michael. They danced, they joked, they did a little crack, and went up here, where she took the wrong step that ended everything. Only she doesn't know it yet. Drugs make you forget, and if you forget how risky sex can be, you could catch the AIDS virus and not know it for years. AIDS, another way drugs can kill.
Jenny, little babies have to get their shot so they won't get sick. Measles can hurt you. and Mom's really hurt. I got shots when I was a baby because Mommy and Daddy love me.
Please have your baby immunized before age 2. If you need help, call Help Me Grow at 1-800-323-GROW.
In partnership with Ronald McDonald Children's Charities in the state of Illinois.
Along with Richard Davis, Mark Kruger, and Steve Moga back here at East Aurora. And Steve, your thoughts on the first 8 minutes of this final game?
Well, pretty much what we expected, Mark. Both teams playing in-your-face man-to-man defense, a little sloppy at times on Central's part, but Bob Sturr, using the depth of his bench, has held things together. Each team has a little bit of the jitters. The shot's not exactly falling from the start, but look for them to turn things up a notch right here as Central with a fast lineup back in there. Again, anytime they got anybody in there, it's pretty much a fast lineup, but they give the big guy a seat now as we start the next 8 minutes here of the second frame.
3 Redhawks with 2 personal fouls. Turnquist, Thill, and Pembroke, and that could be a factor. And a traveling violation against Larry Christian turns the ball over to Central. So Central with Turnquist, Collins, Burke, Darnheim, and Ryan Crowley in there for Bob Sturr. Low left is Darnheim. Turnquist on top, hounded by Carius. Crowley with the open 3. Rebound to Sean Jones. North by 1. Here's a 3 for Christian, and it's short. Tracked down by Collins. Pass intended for Mike Burke off the hand of Jason Buckley. And now Conrad Gackey is going to come back into the ball game to replace Max Hansen. So Buckley, Jones, Carius, Conrad Gackey, and Larry Christian for Mark Lindo. Aaron Pembroke is going to come in for Pat Collins. Bob Sturr, career record, Steve, 363 wins, 291 losses. Inbounds pass intended for Crowley. And Sean Jones is going to get called for the personal foul, his first and the team's 6th.
Well, Bob Sturr, of course, has had some outstanding teams at Naperville Central, going by a different nickname, but probably none better than this one, even though a lot of people would argue last year's team, as he was out of bounds there. No one saw that. Sandora stepped on the end line. Some people would argue last year's team, you just see all the way to the basket. Oh, Jones. That's kind of how it was for him the other night, Mark. I was going to say last year's team, though, with Anthony Parker and company, a pretty darn good one. We can talk about Anthony Parker a little bit later, but this team has got just the depth and the speed and some height that maybe some of his other ones haven't had.
Certainly got the quickness at the guard position as Gackey goes strong to the hoop, and there's going to be a foul called. And a lot of these players last year as juniors, Steve, on this Central team certainly have the experience in these high-intensity games as they made it all the way to the Super Sectionals, losing to Frem.
We've touched on the Frem issue so many times, Mark, something that Naperville Central would love to forget, but it's the old adage, you've got to learn from adversity. And no better way to learn than from that game of how that 25-point lead got away from them. And I recall heading on my way to Florida last year at that time, Mark, and hearing that first half score and going, oh, all right, Central's downstate. And then an utter shock when I heard the final about an hour and a half later. I couldn't believe it. And that one shocked a lot of people around Naperville Central and Naperville as well. And they, of course, want to get to that game again this year and prove that was a fluke last year. The good thing about it, either way, a Naperville team is going to be in the Sweet 16.
Gackey hits 1 of 2. It's a 2-point Husky lead here, 13-11. Phil with a wild shot. Rebound to Larry Christian. So Central, a little bit of a dry spell offensively here. And a traveling violation called on Sean Jones. Turns the ball over to Coach Sturr's Redhawks.
The officials quick to call that step, that traveling against both squads. Mark Lindo yelled out to Christian, shoot it. You've got it right there in the flow, put it up. We don't care if you do that, big guy. Good look that time by Norrie.
Sandora missed the open 15-footer. Excellent look by Norrie. Triple team down on the post. Sandora had the open shot, just missed it.
That's one thing Central has to recognize, Mark. Every time Gerald Norrie gets the ball, 3 Huskies go to him. The middle is going to be wide open. Go to the basket. Good look underneath. Oh.
They wave off the bucket. Tom Starr called a traveling violation on Sean Jones. And it's still 13-11. Steal, here's Larry Christian. The pull-up from 8 feet is no good. And an over-the-back call on Sean Jones, his second. We played almost 3 minutes here in the second quarter. The only scoring coming on a Conrad Gackey free throw. We'll shoot some free throws here at the other end as Tyler Turnquist will come to the free throw line. Turnquist on the air, 69%.
And you say 69%. The key thing with that, Mark, is the fact that Tyler Turnquist, being the type of player he is and taking the ball to the basket, and a tough kid as well, taking a lot of hacks and a lot of fouls during the course here. He's shot 107 free throws now, actually. 73 of 100, or 74 of 107 after he buried that one, but he's got 40 more free throw attempts than any one of his teammates.
Second leading scorer on this Central team, averaging over 10 points a game. Hits 1 of 2 from the charity stripe, and it's a 1-point Naperville North lead. Gackey gives it up to Carius, who is snuffed down low. Kevin Thill at the other end, and a good call there by the official. An offensive foul. Good job of Naperville North holding its ground defensively.
Great move by Kevin Thill out at about the free throw line. Shake and bake went around him, and a great job by Buckley to come from the weak side, step in front, and take the charge. That's number 3 on Kevin Thill. That is a big one as he'll go to the bench.
Mike Darnheim replaces Thill. Aaron Pembroke and Tyler Turnquist each out there with 2 personal fouls. Sean Jones is going to come back into the ball game here. Jones with 2 personal fouls as well. 4:52 left to play here in the first half. A low-scoring affair here. 13-12, Naperville North. Something had to give here, Steve. Naperville Central, the leading offensive team in the DuPage Valley Conference. Naperville North, the leading defensive team. And another traveling violation against the Huskies. Central takes over with 4:43 to play in the first half. It's been a tight one throughout. North leads it by 1. Darnheim over here to Turnquist. Both teams played man-to-man throughout. Norrie. Quadruple teamed that time, Steve, but he still got it off rather easily.
Central's first lead since the middle of the first quarter at 7-5. A little back and forth, a little helter-skelter, up strong.
Sean Jones went up against the 6'8" Norrie and drew the foul on Gerald. That's going to be his second. Sean Jones is going to come to the free throw line to shoot 2, 64% on the year from the charity stripe.
The official's going to talk to both players right now. Gerald Norrie just wanted to let Jones know, hey, this is my inside, this is my paint here. Do not try and bring that in here. Even though he got whistled for the foul, Gerald was going to let him have an earful, and the official is not about to let this thing get out of hand and let somebody get in someone else's face. And maybe with the intensity and the volume that this is turned up to, it could escalate in something more than basketball, and that's what they want to prevent from happening, as Jones tallies the free throw and his third point of the night.
We were tied at 7, Steve. Now we're tied at 14. And we're still tied at 14. A couple of football scores here. And another foul, pushing foul on Larry Christian. That's going to be his second foul. So 2 key players for North, Steve, Jones and Christian, each with 2.
We've played 4 minutes, Mark, and there's only been 5 points scored. It's been pretty easy for you to keep that score sheet here tonight.
A lot of space left open in the second quarter. Mike Darnheim comes to the free throw line, shooting 1 and the bonus. Darnheim, 69% free throw shooter. He gets it to go. Darnheim into the scoring column, gives the Redhawks a 1-point lead here. Sellout crowd at East Aurora High School. That free throw won't go. Rebound to Jones. Steve Moga and Mark Kruger bringing you all the action here on Jones Intercable Channel 4. Christian walk, no call. Jones at the top of the key, leaves it way short. But an offensive rebound by Jason Buckley. As we saw back and forth, Naperville North with the 1-point lead. Darnheim's 3 won't go, but there's Turnquist. Turnquist with 6. He was battling the tall trees down low, but used his body well and got the shot off. Count it! Larry Christian got it to go, and he drew the foul. And Steve, he used his body so well on that play.
Also, the strength that time is he had his arm being held and was able to get that up and get it on the glass. Just a great move that time by Larry Christian. But more impressive to me was the last trip down. Jason Buckley recognizing Jones' shot coming up short, all in one motion, received it, and reverse layup, rolled around and fell in.
Christian with the 3-point play. He's got 7 to lead all scores, and it's 19-17 in favor of North. And a pushing foul from behind. Jason Buckley with the push on Mike Burke.
Well, what the official's trying to establish there, Mark, is Jason Buckley to get his hands off the offensive player. Mike Burke, as he was receiving the ball, a little bit of a drop step into the defender, Jason Buckley, and Buckley used his hands to hold him off. That's one thing you can't do, especially when the man has the ball.
Mike Burke hits the free throw. Burke with 5 points. Turnquist leads Central with 6. Burke leaves that one well short. Rebound to Hairston. 19-18, Naperville North with the ball and the 1-point lead. Hanson to Jones. They cross court it to Christian. The open 3 is short. Rebound to Burke. Burke gives it to Darnheim. Darnheim drives right baseline, forces it up. Rebound to Jason Buckley. Forced that one a little bit, Steve.
That it did. Mike Darnheim wanted to get in the scoring column, get things going for himself. Kind of forced a good athletic move, but he was drifting away and had a little bit of a bump, and that was all it took. 2.5 minutes to go here in the first half. 19-18, North by 1 mark. And the one thing that I thought the Huskies would do better is shoot a little bit better from the outside than they have here in this first half. The big steal.
Turnquist gives it up to Sandora. Sandora forces a shot. The rebound to Max Hansen, and Steve, Naperville Central not getting good shots offensively here.
And that is because of the defense Naperville North is playing right now. Anybody, wherever the ball is at, the Huskies are attacking it defensively.
Huskies get it down low to Christian. No shot, as we're going to have a blocking foul before the shot, as the fouls continue to pile.
As Larry Christian received that ball, had a little bump on the hip by Aaron Pembroke. Pembroke was the one trying to come across and help out, and he'll pick up number 3 as well. So Thill and Pembroke with 3, Turnquist and Darnheim with 2, and Norrie with 2. Things do not look well or look good in that category for Bob Sturr's Redhawks.
Christian hits the front end of the 1-on-1. Larry with 8 points to lead all scorers here. Huskies by 2. Make it 3 as Christian hits both free throws. It's 21-18, under 2 minutes to play here in the first half. The East Aurora Sectional Final, the top 2 seeds going at it here tonight. Through the hands of Burke, but there's Crowley to get it. Turnquist drives, gives it to Crowley. And the rebound to Jason Buckley. So another missed opportunity for the Redhawks. Hansen gives it to Christian. A beautiful dish by Max Hansen. Turnquist with the forced shot. Rebound to Lashinsky. Up to Carius. And it's 23-18. Naperville North with a 5-point lead.
That matches their biggest lead of the night. They had a 12-7 lead midway through that first quarter. Under a minute now.
Max Hansen with the long 2. And Naperville North is up by 7 here, 25-18. Central needs to compose itself here.
That's exactly what Bob Sturr was yelling from the sidelines. Tyler, slow it up. Let's run fist, get things set, and get a good shot here. Under 30 seconds for the first half. Martha probably hold here for one last shot.
Naperville North into a man-to-man defense. Burke gives it to Crowley. Back to Burke from the free throw line. Burke hits it. So Mike Burke with 7. And it's a 5-point lead with 5 seconds to play here in the first half. Carius for 3, leaves it short. We've played one half of basketball here, Steve Moga. You said right at the beginning, you predicted Naperville North was going to come out and perform real well. They certainly have, 25-20 at the half.
Well, just what we expected, both teams going at each other defensively and putting pressure on, pressuring the ball, pressuring the shooter. A little bit more contact, though, than I think Bob Sturr wanted. He's got several players with a little bit of foul difficulty, and that could come into play down the stretch. Of course, though, Naperville Central has the good depth, and if anybody's able to lose a couple players by reason of disqualification and part of too many personal fouls, it would be Naperville Central. A little bit more depth, but I am really impressed with the way the Huskies composed themselves the first half, and if they could have hit some of their outside shots, it might be even bigger lead at this point, because in a lot of facets of the game, they outplayed Naperville Central.
Naperville North led at the end of the first quarter by 1, 12-11. They lead at half here by 5, 25-20. First half scoring for Naperville Central. Mike Burke with 7 first half points. If you'll remember that semifinal game, he had 9 first half points. Tyler Turnquist with 6 for Naperville Central. For Mark Lindo's Huskies, Larry Christian with a big first half. He had 11 points. Conrad Gacke with 4. So we are at halftime here at East Aurora. We'll be back with second half action between the number 1 seeded Redhawks and the number 2 seeded Huskies right after this timeout.
Parental guidance suggested. available.
When you can't be with your kids, the Y is a great place for your kids to be. Get a family membership to the YMCA.
Because disaster strikes someone every single day, there's always going to be one more night someone needs food, shelter, and a place to rest. Please support the American Red Cross. Because without your help, one more night could be hard to come by.
He protects all living things in the forest. But he can't do it alone. Please don't play with matches. Put out your campfires. And never, ever forget the words of Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Back here at East Aurora at the half, it's Naperville North by 5, 25-20. Both teams back out on the floor, loosening up here. First half scoring, Larry Christian leading Naperville North with 11. Mike Burke, the leading scorer for the Redhawks, with 7 first half points, Steve.
Well, Larry Christian was the one who got things sparked, I would say, or per se, for Naperville North when it was a 17-16 Naperville Central lead. Christian took it to the basket for a three-point play, was fouled, scored, fouled, and hit the free throw to make it 19-17 Naperville North, and they never looked back the last 2.5, 3 minutes of that second quarter, going into the locker room with a 5-point lead.
The third time this season that both of these two Naperville schools have played each other. Of course, Naperville Central winning both of them during conference play. They were conference champions, undefeated, 26-2, the number 1 seed. Naperville North, 24-3, the number 2 seed in this East Aurora Sectional. And Steve, second half now, you know, we talk about that semifinal game against St. Charles in which they had that huge come-from-behind victory, the comeback that it was a 28-4 run starting in the third quarter. How do they react now? They're up by 5.
Well, hopefully they hold on. The last 2 meetings with Naperville Central, they entered both of those games with a 1-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and Central, in the first meeting back in December, blew them out, running away with it, winning 56-42, a 14-point spread, an 8-0 run with 4.5 minutes in that game. It was 37 all, 4.5 minutes to go, and an 8-0 run by the Redhawks blew things open. That was back on December 3rd. Then on January 22nd at Naperville North, the Huskies missed their first 9 shots of the fourth quarter in a game which was 44-42 once they finally did hit a shot, a three-pointer by Christian. That was with 2.5 minutes left to play, but from that point, Aaron Pembroke took over, scoring 9 of his 23 in the last 2:13, and the Huskies held on for, or rather, the Redhawks held on for that one with a 53-49 final. So they've been able to overcome those little deficits the Redhawks have, but this one is a little bit more, in this game, a little bit more magnitude.
A sectional championship and the right to go to the DeKalb Super Sectional at stake here tonight. Second half action here at Naperville Central. They trail by 5. On top is Darnheim, has it stripped by Gecke. Loose on the floor, Turnquist gives it up to Darnheim. Kevin Thill hits the outside shot. Kevin Thill with 4. And it's down to a 3-point Husky lead, 25-22, and we've got a whistle here And a foul on Conrad Gacky. A pushing foul. That's his second.
Well, the first few minutes of the second half are always pivotal. And we just touched on the fourth quarter in a situation of the last two games entering the fourth quarter. But here, as we start the second half, things quickly turning back towards Central's way. A little bit of a momentum builder here with a basket and now an offensive foul.
They get it inside to Burke. His turnaround is good. Burke with 9. And it's a 1-point Husky lead here. Central coming out in the third, hitting its first 2 shots. Jones directing the offense up top. It's Jones, Christian, Buckley. Loose on the floor. The 2 officials look at each other and they give it to Naperville North. Buckley, Christian, Jones, Carius, and Hansen in there for Coach Lindo. Turnquist, Burke, Thill, Santora, and Darnheim in there for Coach Sturr.
Well, Tyler Turnquist had the inside position. As we see a push-off against Sean Jones. He cleared out Darnheim, and it's going to be number 3 on Sean Jones. A big foul against him. But the play before that, Turnquist thought that Husky came over his back. He said, hey, if this is football, that's pass interference. And I'm not the one guilty of it, but the official to no avail inside. And all of a sudden, the Redhawks are in the lead.
Burke got the easy bucket down low. Sean Jones playing with those 3 fouls, Steve. Could just stand there. He didn't want to pick up number 4. The Redhawks with the 1-point lead here. They've gone on a 6-0 run to start the third quarter. Here comes Turnquist. He takes it all the way. And a foul is going to be called on Max Hansen. No basket. That's Hansen's second personal foul. And Steve, Coach Mark Lindo, you may want to think about calling a timeout here. We played less than 2 minutes. Central's gone on a 6-0 run here. And Turnquist at the line, shooting 2 shots.
Well, he didn't get that one to go, and he was a little disgusted with himself. You're Mark Lindo right now. You just try and get your crew relaxed and get back into their game here. Clear things out and get things going offensively.
So Naperville Central with a 2-point lead here. Turnquist diving in the backcourt. Out of bounds to Naperville Central. So give some credit to the Redhawks leader, Tyler Turnquist, and Mark Lindo will call time here, as we'll take one as well here. 6:03 left to play in the third. The Redhawks by 2.
Football gear is designed for safety and protection, just like a seatbelt. I'm Jim Hart. In the National Football League, the rules are the law. They help keep me in one piece. In Illinois, wearing your seatbelt when driving is the law. When you buckle up, you save lives and avoid serious injuries. Police agencies all over the state want you and your loved ones to be safe when driving. Remember, you can get a ticket for not using your seatbelt, so don't fumble with your life. Buckle up.
Prescription medicines work miracles, but did you know they can dangerously interact with drugs used during emergencies? Since emergencies can happen to anyone, protect yourself by wearing Medic Alert. Medic Alert lets emergency teams know your medications and medical history, vital information that prevents emergencies from becoming tragedies. To learn more, call 1-800-ID-ALERT or ask your pharmacist.
Boy, I really did it last night. Got drunk, acted stupid, went home with... Who is that? What, am I stupid? How did I do this? Barry began to worry, really worry. What about AIDS? Then he remembered, hey, I'm just a cartoon. I don't even have to shower. Get high, get stupid, get AIDS.
Along with Richard Davis, Mark Kruger, and Steve Moga. Coming to you from East Aurora here on Jones Intercable Channel 4. Steve Central coming out of the locker room on fire. A 7-0 run sparked by Tyler Turnquist's defensive efforts.
Well, they're doing what they do best, hawk the ball over the place, scrapping, playing pressure defense, man-to-man all over the place, and creating havoc in the passing lanes. They've been able to do that. Huskies back into their man-to-man set. Both teams, pretty much, that's what they do. Good steal. Christian and Pembroke right back.
Pembroke takes it all the way, and an offensive foul on Aaron Pembroke. That is going to be his 4th personal foul. We've seen that a couple times here tonight, Steve.
When you're a guard and the guard mentality is Aaron Pembroke, a good ball player, and takes it to the hole, and takes it to the hole strong like he does. But he's had a couple bad decisions tonight with the basketball, and that one right there was one in particular. He really didn't need to do the extra lean in to try and get that shot off. He had a good little jumper on the baseline that he could have taken, and instead he decided to stop and lean in, and got called for the offensive foul. A Husky down on the floor. Let's see who it was, probably an elbow. It's Jason Buckley, as he went to the floor taking the offensive charge. He does that as well as anybody on Mark Lindo's squad, getting in front of that offensive player, a big body, and he takes the contact. You know, we've mentioned, though, Mark, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, and that is what Naperville Central is trying to achieve right here. And, you know, it's even harder to beat a good team. Tyler Turnquist said, hey, we beat Wheaton Warrenville South 3 times during the season, and they're a good team. Well, the one thing, though, Tyler, they're not Naperville North. A little bit better, the Huskies are, than the Tigers, and this is going to be a tough battle regardless, much less for the 3rd time. They both know what they're going to do, and it's really been just what we expected so far.
You can just sense that this one is going to come right down to the wire as Max Hansen gets double teamed. He brings it out. 27-25, and a steal by Turnquist. Tyler has it stripped from behind, knocked out of bounds. It will stay to Naperville Central. The quick hands of the senior.
Well, Carius lost the handle just for a split second. He bobbled it. Turnquist slapped it away, and what I was more impressed with, Mark, was the crossover dribble at midcourt, and he just left Carius. Luckily, Conrad Gackey hustling back, got a hand on it, slapped it away as he went up.
Redhawks get it down low to Burke. He gets double teamed. The open Dauernheim hits the 3. Dauernheim with 4. And Naperville Central is on a 10-0 run here. 4:50 to play in the 3rd. Larry Christian's shot won't go. Dauernheim up to Turnquist. And we're going to have a... Finally, the whistle blows. Jump ball situation.
Ball loose there on the floor. Resembled a few gridiron matches this past fall. Of course, 2 outstanding football programs as well, not to mention baseball programs at Naperville. You know, we've touched on so many things tonight, Mark, but you look at the records, that is 50 wins between Naperville Central and Naperville North. The 2 Naperville high schools, 50 basketball wins between the 2 of them. And that's just the boys. Both girls teams were pretty good this year as well, and that's just a tremendous sign of the way things that the basketball fortunes in Naperville are continuing to get better every year. Good move inside.
Larry Christian driving to the hoop, trying to fire up his Huskies as they finally get on the board here in the 3rd quarter. It took him 3.5 minutes to score. But a big bucket by Larry Christian, and now he's at the line for the three-point play.
Well, Mike Darnheim was the one who tried to come across from the weak side defensive help, and the thing that made that for Larry Christian is he got the ball. He did not put the ball on the floor. It was just catch ball and right back up. Did not give Darnheim an opportunity to get in position to get in front of him, and he just bumped him on the hip and the foul, and now the free throw pulls him back within 2.
30-28, that breaks a 10-0 run of Naperville Central. Over 4 minutes to play, third quarter. Redhawks by 2. Mike Burke gets it down low. Sandora's shot won't go, as Sean Jones rips down the rebound for the Huskies. Christian carried it right in front of Steve McGrath, who made the call. And Naperville North now is going to apply some full court pressure as Gerald Norrie returns, and Mike Burke will sit down. Burke leaving with 11 points. 4:04 left to play, third quarter. As Thill breaks it over the timeline. Darnheim spots up for a 3. Darnheim's second 3 of the third quarter give him 7 on the night. And it's a 5-point Central lead. Conrad Gackey answers at the other end. Some big buckets for Naperville North. Larry Christian with the three-point play the last time down the floor. This time it was Conrad Gackey now with a chance to complete the three-point play. Conrad with 6 points. He misses that free throw. 33-30 in favor of the Redhawks. It's picked up a bit here in the last couple of moments. The turnaround is good by Kevin Thill. And Kevin with 6. And the Redhawk lead is back up to 5, 35-30. Sean Jones with the lean in. Off of Mike Darnheim, it will go to the Huskies.
Mark Lindo just looked at Sean Jones. Sean Jones looked back at him, and yeah, you're right, Coach. I know. Sean Jones trying to get things going. He's only got 3 points. He was trying to get himself involved, and he forced it up, and he knew it. Good move. Buckley the bucket, and the foul on Gerald Norrie. The big 4th foul on the big guy. Good move around the basket by Jason Buckley. The head fake got him up in the air, and Gerald fell for it. 2 times now got him up in the air, and he drew the contact. And he will take a seat with 3:17 and 4 personals.
Buckley can't get the free throw, but there's Larry Christian getting the offensive rebound. 35-32. Boy, I'll tell you, the last couple of moments, certainly the intensity level has grown here. Both sides of this sellout crowd are getting into it. Under 3 minutes to play, third quarter. Christian over to Jones, and a traveling violation. Sean can't believe the call. Looks over at the official, Tom Starr. 35-32, Central by 3. Darnheim for another 3. Rebound to Christian. Carius. Up top to Gackey. 35-32, Central leading by 3. Carius pulls it out. Buckley gets it into Jones. Jones on Sandora, and he gets a tough shot to fall. Sean Jones with 5. and it's a 1-point Central lead. Rebound to Conrad Gackey, and the Huskies with a chance to take the lead. Sean Jones traveled. So 2 traveling violations by Sean Jones. And with 1:45 left to play, Coach Lindo is going to have his big guy sit down.
Well, Coach is a little upset with his big guy as well. Bob Hayhurst, the assistant, is going to be the one to talk to him, but Sean Jones just trying a little bit too hard to make things happen instead of letting, I know it's a cliche, Mark, but instead of letting the game come to him, he's trying to go one-on-one, and he's getting called for the traveling.
Minute and a half left to play in period number 3. Central with the ball and a 1-point lead. Burke gets double teamed, now gives it up to Dauernheim. See, with the way this game has gone, the intensity level, these players have got to be exhausted, and they still have another 9 minutes to play. Coming up on the 1-minute mark of the 3rd quarter, and a traveling violation on Tyler Turnquist. So I don't know if fatigue is starting to set in, but a couple of traveling violations on both teams here.
Well, in that particular case, Tyler Turnquist, his first instinct was that once he caught the ball was to make a move to the basket. He had a step, half a step on Carius. Then he saw one of his teammates pop to the opening, and it's like, oh, should I pass it? Should I drive? And he got caught in the middle and got called for the traveling. Now Crowley inside with a push.
If I can control myself, so can you.
They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious.
Welcome to Larry King Live.
You may not be watching the channel the people next door are watching, or the program the average American likes best. But tonight, you can watch exactly what you want to watch. And everyone else who subscribes to cable can do the same. Television for individuals instead of for the masses. It's one of your local cable company's basic values.
There is nothing you can't do with this, folks. You jump.
You talk about fatigue, and Bob Sturr recognized that. He got Sandora out of there. Matt was breathing quite heavily. He was laboring, and got Crowley in for him, and right away Crowley picks up the foul, and Sandora, he got his 30 seconds breather, and he's right back in the game.
47 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter of this sectional final game. The top 2 seeds going at it. Carius was wide open here in the left corner. Through the hands of Sean Jones, turns the ball over to the Redhawks.
Good time that play by Kevin Thill to recognize the back door, and he was the one who got a hand on it, and then it went off of Jones's hand out of bounds. Mark Lindo tried to get his player into the game. The official did not allow it. And the Redhawks brought it up court there. He was a little upset with the officials.
Sandora's pass intended for Burke is knocked away.
Well, that one was not Mike Burke's fault. As soon as he got the ball, he had 3 guys around him. What his teammates got to realize, and an offensive foul on Hairston as Turnquist. A pretty good acting job there, Mark. But what I was saying, what his teammates got to realize with Mike Burke is give him the ball a little bit up high, shoulder length, up over his head maybe. Shoulder height, rather. Get it up high to him where the guards aren't able to slap it away from him. He's able to keep it up above his head. Once he caught it, they were on him right away and slapped it away. Give it to him up high where he can turn around and just shoot it.
Central now with 2 seconds to play. The outside 3 is good at the buzzer. Tyler Turnquist with the 3-pointer. Buzzer. Tyler Turnquist nails a 3-pointer to give Naperville Central a 4-point lead going into the 4th and final quarter. And Steve, in that 3rd quarter, we see Naperville Central outscoring Naperville North 18-9.
Well, 2 things stand out in that quarter. Exactly what you just said. The way the Redhawks came out there in the 3rd quarter, turned it up a notch offensively, got things going. The Huskies all of a sudden struggled, played a little bit tight, played a little bit like not trying to lose instead of being aggressive and continuing to do what they did early in this game. Redhawks took advantage. The other thing was the fact that the big man has not been a factor. Gerald Norrie, the only real height advantage that the Redhawks possess, and a guy 6'8", really has been a non-factor as he picked up his 3rd and 4th fouls within 30 seconds of each other there in the middle of that 3rd quarter, and he's really been on the bench for most of this game, it seems like.
Turnquist a little bit short on that 3-point attempt. So North now trailing by 4. It's first possession of the 4th quarter. Hanson, Christian, Carius, Jones, and Buckley in there for Coach Lindo. Darnheim, Sandora, Burke, Thill, and Turnquist for the Redhawks. Rebound to Kevin Thill. And gives it up to Sandora, back over to Kevin.
The other thing the Redhawks did establish in that 3rd quarter is the fact that they're starting to hit their outside shots. We see Darnheim again.
And Darnheim, after that shot, looked right into Max Hanson's face. Darnheim with 3 threes here in the 2nd half. He's got 10, and it's a 7-point lead for the Redhawks. Sean Jones answers at the other end. Jones with 7, and it's back down to 5, 41-36. Turnquist gets double teamed on top. And open Darnheim for another 3. Rebound to Jones. And a foul in the backcourt. That's going to be on Kevin Thill. And that's going to be 4 fouls on Thill. So Pembroke, Norrie, and now Kevin Thill, each with 4 fouls for Coach Sturr.
What happened that time, a mistake actually benefited the Huskies. Carius did not come to the big man to get the ball. As he faded away from him up towards court, Jones had to fake it. He got Thill to bite on it, and then once he finally did throw it, Thill couldn't stop his momentum, and he bumped Carius and drew the foul. Mismatch. Sean Jones has finally gotten here to the point of a mismatch with Matt Sandora. And he's recognized it the last 2 times down court, taking it straight up to the hoop, taking it strong. Sandora a little bit fatigued right now. But Bob Sturr, unfortunately, doesn't have the big guy to go to, and he's going to bring Crowley in instead. And last time Crowley came in to give Sandora a breather, they took advantage of Crowley right away, even though Crowley is not going to come in for Sandora in a situation. He's going to come in for Phil. 6:21 to go. Phil with 4 fouls, so Sturm decides to get him out of there.
Burke, Sandora, Darnheim, Crowley, and Turnquist out there for Naperville Central. Jones hits the free throw. He's got 8 points. Leading scorer for the Huskies is Larry Christian with 14. 11 of those in the first half. Jones makes good on a pair. Full court pressure now applied by the Huskies, and open Mike Burke. Karam's off the backboard right to Sandora. Wow. Huskies, or the Redhawks with a break there. Lead-in shot, picked up by Crowley. Again, hit the layup, and Jones gets the rebound.
A little over anxious. Oh, in and out. Conrad Gacku, a nice jumper.
Wasn't there for him, just rimmed in and out. 41-38. It's a 3-point Central lead. Burke, and a pushing foul from behind on Conrad Gacku. That's going to be Conrad's third. 5:43 left to play in regulation of this East Aurora Sectional Final. The winner moves on to the DeKalb Super Sectional. Crowley dribbles up top, cross-court pass to Turnquist. 5.5 left to play. The outside shot is good by Crowley. Crowley on the board for the first time, and it's 43-38, a 5-point lead. After the made bucket, now Naperville Central with full court pressure. Christian looking to get an inbound for the Huskies. He does to Buckley. Buckley will take it up himself. Christian drives to the hoop. Lays it nicely off the glass. Christian with 16. Turnquist for 3.
Naperville North just going to the basket, out rebounding Central here. Oh, not a good decision by Gacku. And Curious with a great effort to try and save that from being an over and back call. But that, not a good decision by Conrad Gacku. Mark Lindo wants to make sure his guys don't let it get any farther than this.
So we'll take a timeout as well here. 4:51 left to play. It's Naperville Central by 3.
Just a fraction of what we spend dining out could help pick up the tab for a good cause. A small part of what we spend on sports could help keep our community in shape. Or some of our time on the phone could help answer society's problems. Won't you get involved? By giving 5% of your income and volunteering 5 hours per week, you can really help your community. This year, make it your goal to give 5. What you get back is immeasurable.
The animals in the forest. If they could talk, what would they say? They might say, be careful with fire in the forest. Just like Smokey says, only you can prevent forest fires.
Nice.
a time when people helped their neighbors, and together they built a stronger community. This spirit lives on today in NeighborWorks, a unique partnership of local residents, business, and government leaders. NeighborWorks volunteers have rebuilt over 100,000 homes, restoring pride to millions of neighbors. So help a neighbor and a nation. Join NeighborWorks, reversing decline, rebuilding pride.
There are people out there who need help, but don't have anyone with the right skills and knowledge to turn to for help with their taxes. You or your organization can be there for someone who needs help. Volunteer your time, and the IRS will volunteer the training to help make someone's taxes less taxing.
Mark Kruger and Steve Moga back here at East Aurora. 4:51 left to play. Sellout crowd on hand enjoying the sectional final between Bob Sturr's Redhawks and Mark Lindo's Huskies, and they are certainly living up to their expectations of two great teams going at it here tonight.
11 lead changes, Mark. 2 ties here through 3.5 quarters of basketball.
Through the hands of Darnheim, out of bounds to Naperville North. So the Huskies with a chance to, well, on a long one, tie it.
Well, don't blame the sophomore Crowley on that. All night Darnheim has been spotting up the three-point line. As he turned, he thought Darnheim was a little bit farther away from him than he was, and Mike was slashing to the basket. All he had to do was hand it to him. Instead, he threw it and right off his shoulder and out of bounds.
4:40 left to play. Scott Carius on top, directing the Husky offense. Central has gone to a zone here now, 2-3. Larry Christian. Christian shot. Bounces in. 18 points for Christian. And it's a 1-point Red Hawk lead. Sandora, hounded by Christian. Gives it up to Turnquist. And open, Mike Burke. Phil with the offensive rebound. And we're going to have a foul on Sean Jones. That's going to be his 4th. So 4 fouls on Sean Jones. 16 fouls second half, so Central will inbound underneath its own bucket.
Well, that could be a very big foul, Mark. Not so much because Sean Jones missing his scoring punch right now, but defensively and matching up height-wise inside. Phil missed the easy one.
But Mike Burke was there, grabbing the offensive rebound. His shot won't go, but he was fouled, and he'll come to the line.
As you see many times, a long shot produces a long rebound, and the Huskies spread out a little bit. Kevin Phil with the board, the long board, and got it over to Burke. And Burke went up strong, drew the contact from Christian. As you see Pembroke come back in, Mark, with 4 personals.
So Mike Burke at the free throw line now with 2 shots. Burke, a 67% free throw shooter, buries that one. Mike with 12 points on the night. Make it 13. And Central now leading by 3, 45-42 with 3:40 left to play. Larry Christian with the 3. Rebound to Burke. Turnquist and Phil Travel. Good call by the official. Kevin Phil kind of bobbled the ball, Steve.
Well, Tyler Turnquist waited just one step too late to give him the ball, give up the ball, give it up at the top of the key. He took one step in towards the lane. By the time he did throw it, Phil was breaking to the basket. Instead of the pass being right where he wanted it to be, it was a short hop and caught Phil on the heels. He ended up with a travel. Right there again, a bounce pass would do the trick. So many times guys trying that quick little shovel pass, bounce pass is going to get through there 9 out of 10 times.
3:18 left to go. Larry Christian gets it inside to Buckley, loses it to Pembroke. So Central with a chance to add to its 3-point lead here, coming up in the 3-minute mark. Pembroke gives it on up to Burke. Over to Pembroke. Shot no good. Rebound out of bounds. It will stay Central's ball. Max Hansen goes flying into the Central crowd, and Coach Bob Sturr wants to call a timeout. We'll take one here as well. 2:55 left to play. Naperville Central 45, Naperville North 42.
From the McGruff Files, the Philadelphia story. In certain parts of Philadelphia, things were rough. Areas were run down, crime and drugs were out of hand, and honest folks felt like prisoners in their own homes. People decided to work with police to turn things around. Weekly meetings led to cleanup projects and folks working together. Soon, the neighbors had their neighborhood back. That's what happens when people and police work together. Write this down, and I'll show you how you can help take a bite out of crime.
In front of a class at Edison High School, Boris Yeltsin stood up and changed the course of communism. Magic Johnson gave some tips to Maryville High's basketball team.
Fundamentals of basketball.
And Rudolph Nureyev staged the Nutcracker at Lewis F. Cole Middle School. By donating cable service and commercial-free programming to schools across the country, local cable companies like yours are helping teachers show that great things can come to those who dare to dream.
The power.
We'll be all right down here.
Richard Davis, Mark Kruger, and Steve Moga. Coming to you from East Aurora, 2:55 left to play in the sectional final. Steve, tell you what, I'm exhausted.
And there's a lot of players that show some exhaustion too, but adrenaline is going to get you quite a ways here as Mark Lindo's squad almost didn't get out of that huddle in time for the inbounds play. That, for many people who know Mark Lindo and some history about Aurora Central Catholic, that brings back some nightmares. His last team at Aurora Central was ousted in a sectional final. You see the jumper by Phil. Burke with a tap out. Was ousted, though, Mark, towards the end of the game. It's a contact down low. The Redhawks taking it to the basket, drawing a contact, going to the free throw line, just what you got to do here towards the end of the game. But Lindo's Aurora Central Chargers were ousted when they came out late out of a huddle in a sectional final game and were called for a 5-second call. and change the outcome of that game. And a controversial one at that, as Phil's free throw falls.
Phil gets the free throw to go. He's got 7. 46 to 42. Free throw won't go. Rebound to Max Hansen. It's a 4-point Naperville Central lead. So Larry Christian takes it all the way. Can't get it to go, but a foul called. It's going to be on Matt Sandora. That is his 3rd. Steve, as we go back to the semifinal game against St. Charles, Coach Lindo took off his jacket when they were trailing 38 to 23, and we see him with his jacket off right now.
Well, after Phil hit the first free throw, he turned around to his student section, said, all right. He clapped, took his jacket off, said, all right, let's get down to business right now. This one's not over. And definitely it is not over by a long shot. Christian nothing but net on the first one. Within 3, looking to get within 2. No, but Buckley with a big rebound.
46 to 43. Loose on the floor. Still loose, and Christian recovers for the Huskies. Christian, the leading scorer on the night with 19 points. Just over 2 minutes to play. The Huskies with the ball, trailing by 3. Inside to Christian. He's fouled by Tyler Turnquist. And Larry Christian is going to be back at the line for 2 shots. Larry Christian, Steve, with exactly 2 minutes left to play, has come up big here the last couple of moments. Coach Lindo getting that student section into it here. 2 shots for the All-State soccer performer, Larry Christian. "20 points for the 6'5" senior. Turnquist gets the rebound. It's Central by 2. Under 2 minutes to play in regulation. Stay tuned here to Channel 4 as we watch this final one unfold. A traveling call on Matt Sandora. Turns the ball over. Sean Jones is going to come in for Lindo. Conrad Gackey will sit down. Everyone almost on their feet here. At least the Central crowd is. Jason Buckley down low. He gets it to go. And we're tied at 46. Listen to the Naperville North crowd. And Naperville Central is going to call time. And we'll keep it here. We'll keep it here at East Aurora. 1:22 left to play in regulation. Steve, we're tied at 46. Mark Lindo with the jacket off. I'll tell you what, we're going to be in for some finish here.
Well, Coach Lindo himself breathing some energy, or giving some energy to not only his team, but the Naperville North crowd. Everybody up. 2/3 of this place is on its feet. We still got 1:22 to go. It's all knotted at 46. And right now, if you're Naperville North, you've got to get the ball in Larry Christian's hands again. Get it inside and let him do his thing.
Steve, can we get some security people over here? I feel
well, security is lining up to try and keep people off the court. I don't think that's going to happen very easily. Keep individuals off the court. Now, Bob Stern, on the other hand, took a timeout. Let his squad know, hey, things are not out of control. Let's spread it out. Let's do what we do best. Look inside and get the jumper. And Gackey going to be called for the reach.
That's 4 fouls on Conrad Gackey. So Sean Jones with 4, Gackey with 4 for the Huskies.
Well, one thing right now If you're Bob Sturr, the one trump card you do have is a Mike Darnheim on the bench. The hot hand. Come in and hit possibly a long one if you need it. He's been hot all night, but he's on the bench now.
Phil, a 67% free throw shooter, hits that one. He's got 8, and it puts the Redhawks up by 1. Rebound to Christian. Both sides now on their feet. The Huskies with the ball trailing by 1. We are just over a minute to play. Sectional championship at stake here. Christian. And here comes Kevin Thill on the breakaway. Three-pointer. It's good. By Curious. Oh, my. The first points of the night for Curious. Listen to this crowd. Steve, you can come out from underneath the table now. An open three by Scott Carius, his first points of the night.
And if my recollection is correct, his first shot that I can recall him taking all night, he may have taken one or two others, but I don't remember him shooting at all tonight. He's been the consummate point guard, and that time he just spotted up in the corner and buried it. Wow. Do I dare say it, Mark? Do I dare say it? The old T, the old overtime possibly. Let's see what the Redhawks do now. 32 seconds to go. Look for Turnquist or Pembroke to slash to the basket.
49 to 49. Turnquist now guarded by Carius. He gets double now, triple team. Pembroke the open to Sandora. Drives on Christian. Out to Turnquist.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
And open Kevin Thill. Inside to Burke. And a foul. Fouls on number 51, Jason Buckley. That is his 4th. Mike Burke will be at the free throw line. Coach Lindo called the timeout. We'll keep it here. We'll keep it here. Mike Burke on the year. 32 of 48 from the line. 67%. And he'll be there for the biggest free throws of his career in just a moment after this timeout.
All right, Mark, you're losing your voice. We'll take a break.
Children are the largest group of Americans living below the poverty line. They have to reach higher for what others take for granted. Health care, balanced meals, encouragement to learn. But with help early on, children in your community can gain the skills to get out from below the poverty line. It takes programs like Success by 6 and people like you to help them take the first step. Call to learn more. Change the world of a child, and you change the world.
Lloyd Bridges here, speaking for the National Arbor Day Foundation. Is there anything as marvelous as trees? They clean the air we breathe, shade us in the summer, and protect us from the cold winter winds. That's the miracle of trees. You plant one now, it'll make a world of difference later.
Support Tree City USA where you live. For more information, write your state forester or the National Arbor Day Foundation. Join me and plant a tree.
Along with Richard Davis, Mark Kruger, and Steve Moga, back here at East Aurora. And Steve, boxing out here now is going to be crucial.
Well, absolutely crucial. You got to box out, get the ball, and possibly get it to half court. Get a timeout either way, I do believe, as soon as you get the rebound. That is if Mike Burke even misses here, Mark. A very good free throw shooter. I don't think the pressure is going to bother this young man at all. We talked to him after the game Tuesday night, and I don't think this situation will affect him at all. But Jason Buckley, just not a good decision to try and reach in there. Burke 15 feet away from the basket. Just one of those things.
Timeout as he misses the free throw. Max Hansen gets the rebound and calls time with 3 seconds left to play. 49-49. And Steve, it doesn't get any better than this.
I hate to say it, but did I jinx him right there? Mike Burke just left it a little bit short. It was tapped out, chased down by the Huskies. They got the timeout. 3 seconds to go. They're going to get it at the 3/4 court hash mark. Now, what Bob Sturr just did, he brought the big guy back into the game. Gerald Norrie is probably going to guard the inbounds, the man passing the ball inbounds, get up on him, and make him try and throw over the top. Look for Carius or Christian coming back to the ball. I don't think the Redhawks are going to give up anything in a long fashion by any stretch of the imagination. This may be a half-court heave at best, but 3 seconds to go is plenty of time to get it a certain way up court and get a good shot off. Let's see what Bob Sturr's squad comes out with. Norrie is going to guard the inbounds passer, and Mark Lindo drawing up some sort of configuration, I'm sure, to get a shot off. Now, Christian's going to inbound it, Mark. Watch for him to get it to Carius or Buckley, and they're going to get it right back to him.
The old give and go. 3 seconds to play in regulation. Norrie on the inbounder, Larry Christian. Christian gets it into Jones for the win. And it's short, and we are going to overtime. Tied at 49. And Steve, if you look, as we go to the extra 3 minutes, you have to look at the foul situation here. Jones, Buckley, and Gackey, each with 4 fouls for North. Pembroke and Kevin Thill, and also Gerald Norrie with 4 fouls for the Redhawks.
Well, the fouls could come into play here in the extra 3 minutes of overtime. But just as we suspected there, Christian's first option was to look to Carius. Carius, though, faded, and the last thing Larry Christian was going to do was throw a cross-court pass at the opposite team's free throw line. And the second option, Sean Jones popping back to the ball, and that's what he did, and got off a pretty good three-pointer with some tough defense. But that was probably as good a shot as the Huskies were going to get out of that, and it just came up a little short.
Leading scorer for Naperville North at the end of regulation was Larry Christian with 20. Mike Burke with 13 for Naperville Central. Burke and Jones to jump center here in the first overtime. Here's an open Carius. Jason Buckley connects with the offensive rebound to put the Huskies up by 2. 51-49. This is Phil.
That's Naperville North's first lead since the beginning of this half.
Mike Burke ties it up with the turnaround, and we're tied at 51. 2:15 to play here in the first overtime. Mark Kruger and Steve Moga bring you all the action here on Jones Intercable.
Mark Lindell shouting out triangle. Jones, ball goes through his hand, he tracks it down. Christian, an open shot. He's on the line, only a two-pointer, Mark.
22 points for Larry Christian, and the Huskies lead by 2. Turnquist leaves it short. Sandora gets the offensive rebound. Rebound to Christian. So Naperville North with the chance to add to its 2-point lead here with 1:35 left to play in overtime. Over to Jones. Jones guard on top by Sandora. These players have got to be totally exhausted right about now.
I was just going to say that, Mark. Central looks tired. There's a lot of wobbly legs right now defensively. Sandora runs over the trap, a little slow though. And a big traveling call. Carius dragging the back foot.
It looked like Sandora was going to come over and try to foul him, but Carius traveled before he got a chance to get there. Coming up on the 1-minute mark as Naperville Central trails by 2. Kembro. Burke with the offensive rebound. And a foul in the backcourt by Mike Burke. Larry Christian will come to the free throw line now. Christian with 22 points. Larry Christian is a 66% free throw shooter.
Bob Sturr going to bring back one of his shooters. Mike Darnheim was a little bit hotter earlier this evening. But that's one that Mike Burke is going to want back in his sleep a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. He had that rebound. All he had to do was grab it 2 hands and put it right back. And he tried to tap it with one and left it short. But he missed it. They got a chance.
Rims in and out. Here's Turnquist over to Phil. 45 seconds to play. Central trailing by 2. The winner moves on to the DeKalb Super Sectional. What a rivalry this has turned into. Kevin Thill thought about it. Less than half a minute to play. Turnquist for 3. Leaves it short. Darnheim, we're tied. Darnheim ties it. 10 seconds. We're tied at 53. Christian. The pull-up from 10 is no good. Turnquist wants a timeout. And there's 1 second showing on the clock. Tyler Turnquist grabs the rebound and calls time with 1 second on the clock. And Steve, if I'm not mistaken, they get it all the way here at the other end of the court.
Absolutely, that is where they will inbound it, at the opposite end of the court from where they want to go. They tried to get the timeout with 3 seconds. Turnquist had that rebound. He tried to get timeout, but by the time the officials acknowledged it, only 1 tick was left. Bob Sturr obviously unhappy with that, but we may see a second overtime here if Central cannot come up with something. Look for some type of screen, double screen, somebody to try and break long here, and I don't think anybody's going to be fooled in the gym in this one.
Boy, it all comes down, I tell you what, is we will probably head to a second overtime, Steve. Now it's just guts and determination left, and you have to wonder how much energy, how much do these athletes have left in them. He's going to have the big guy, Sean Jones, guard the guy throwing it in. Good move there defensively by Lindo. We're tied at 53 in the first overtime. North led at the end of the first quarter by 1. They led at half by 5. Central led after 3 by 4. We were tied at 49. Christian picks it off. Oh! Almost makes it from half court. Oh my! Larry Christian picked off the inbounds pass at half court, tossed it up, it hit the back end of the rim, bounced out, and we're going to a second overtime. Steve Moga.
We did not see too many of those kind of passes on the football field from him. That was just not a very good decision. He tried to throw a baseball pass to midcourt to Sandora, and Larry Christian turned around, picked that off easily, and got off a decent half-court shot. Just hit the back of the iron. I thought that maybe they had a chance to go in. It was straight on. It was just a little long.
Central 26-2. Naperville North 24-3. As we go to a second overtime. Tip is controlled by the Huskies. Central comes out man-to-man in the second OT.
Right away, Bob Sturr's strategy backfires. He brought in Norrie, the big guy, to try and win the opening tap and control the ball. And the Huskies come up with it. Let's see what Norrie can do. He's been a non-factor. See what he can do inside. As much defensively, but offensively for the Redhawks.
Jones comes up short. Hanson to Buckley. He can't get it to go. Curious for the three. Scott Carius with his second three puts Naperville North up by 3. Norrie at the other end. Gerald Norrie with 4. And it's a 1-point Husky lead. 56-55. Under 2 minutes to play. Jones thought about the open jump shot.
Good decision that time by about 4 different Huskies. They all had a good look at the basket, decided wisely to run an offense, swing it around. Mark Lindo made that gesture as well. But that's exactly what we thought Gerald Norrie would do. Get into the game, get down in the paint, and get the quick turnaround bucket. Now this is where they want him. If you're Jason Buckley, if you're the Huskies, clear it out and let him try and take Norrie speed-wise to the basket.
Boy, for Naperville Central, you're looking to overplay in the passing lanes, trying to get a steal. As Christian takes it strong to the hoop, fouled by Norrie, and Gerald has fouled out. He fouls out with 1 minute and 20 seconds to play in the second overtime. He leaves with 4 points. Larry Christian had the step on Norrie. That is his 5th. 56-55 now. Naperville North leading by 1. Larry Christian will come to the free throw line. I believe he will shoot 2, Steve, as he was in the act of shooting going up to the hoop.
That he will, Mark. Now both teams taking advantage there. Bob Sturr had 30 seconds to get another player in for Gerald Norrie. He used it all. Got his team over there, talked to him. Same with Mark Lindo. Got his squad over, used it as a quick 20-second timeout. And now Christian will line up to try and increase the Husky lead.
22 points for Christian. Make it 23. And that puts Naperville North up by 2. Steve Moga picked Naperville North by 3 at the beginning of this game. And hey, they are up by 3. Huskies by 3, 58-55. Sandora back out top to Phil. Darnheim. Over to Phil now. He thought about the 3. Jones on him. As North goes to his zone, there's a 3 by Darnheim. It's way off. Loose back to Darnheim. Under a minute. Inside to Sandora. His shot is good. Matt Sandora scoring for the first time in the ball game. 58-57 and a reach-in foul on Mike Darnheim, and that is his fourth. So 4 fouls on Darnheim, 4 fouls on Phil, and 4 fouls on Pembroke. And here's Christian back at the line. He hits the free throw. 25 points for Larry Christian, and it puts North on top by 2 with 40 seconds left to play. North by 3. 60-57. 35 seconds to play. And you can look for Central to take a 3. There it is, Darnheim! It goes in! Mike Darnheim ties the game up! We're tied at 60. 17 seconds. Christian drives with the left hand. And an offensive foul on Larry Christian. And a timeout. And we'll keep it here. A good call that time, Steve Moga by the official, as Larry Christian was strong to the hoop, but that Central defender stood his ground.
A good call. The situation, Larry Christian has been hitting those outside jumpers. Maybe pull it up. Obviously, it's easy to say that now, but he had an open shot from the dotted line, decided to take it in, switch hands to left hand, and good time, good job that time by Central just to stand their ground. And 14 seconds left, Mark. It's going to go down to the wire here yet in the second overtime. 14 seconds left. 60 all. I've lost track of how many ties that is. Look at my sheet over here is a mess. I can't even hardly read my own writing anymore. I've run out of room. But it could be the last 14 seconds of high school basketball for somebody on one side of Naperville. We mentioned Mark here is all set to go.
Steve, I don't know if I can go another 3 minutes. 10 seconds. Sendora pulls up from 8. No good. Kevin Phil. No. And a timeout. North full time with 1 second to play. Oh, my. Matt Sandoro with the open 10-footer. Kevin Phil with the open shot down low. He didn't get it to go. And everyone in this gym is just looking at each other in amazement.
Wow. Well, one of the things that maybe the greatest game, the most obviously at stake between the Naperville schools ever, and it's come down to this. This is the way it should be, Mark. Both teams, all players healthy, Pembroke in the lineup, everybody playing the way it should be when this much is at stake. And this one has just been incredible. 1 second remaining again. And the key for Naperville North is the fact that they had hit their free throws. Unlike their game Wednesday night, Larry Christian has really hit his free throws down the stretch here. And again, it looks possibly with a long pass to Sean Jones. What do you do at this point? Try and just get off a decent shot. You've got to go 3/4 the length of the court again. And it's going to be a desperation heave. It's going to be about the only way.
We saw Naperville Central with 1 second or 2 seconds left to play. Took it the length of 4. Larry Christian picked it off. He almost made it, so they have to be careful with the inbound pass here. Christian will pull the trigger. He gets it in. Phil picks it off. He shot. Goes off the top of the backboard. And we are going to a third overtime. Naperville North and Naperville Central, everyone in this gym breathing a sigh of relief as we are about ready to begin the third overtime. We ended regulation tied at 49. We ended the first overtime tied at 53. We end the second overtime tied at 60. Along with Richard Davis and exhausted Mark Kruger and Steve Moga. Coming to you from the East Aurora High School. The third overtime, Matt Sandora, Mike Burke, Kevin Phil, Tyler Turnquist, and Mike Darnheim in there for Bob Sturr. And Naperville North will counter with Jones, Christian, Darius, Buckley, and number 33, Max Hansen.
Unofficially, Mark, I've got 14 lead changes and 7 ties in this game. Obviously, the end of regulation, the end of the first overtime, and the end of the second overtime as we start the third overtime.
Tied at 60. Neither team willing to give in. The inside pass. And we're going to have a foul on Matt Sandora. That is his fourth. And I tell you what, Steve, the big key for Naperville North in these overtime periods is Larry Christian driving to the hoop and pretty much living at the free throw line.
Where we've seen some of his teammates a little exhausted, maybe a little spent, he still seems to have somewhat fresh legs. You see, he uses his legs real well. There is the free throw. Mark Lindo, Bob Sturr barely even showing emotion, either one of them sitting here watching this one now. The Christian is the one with the fresh legs. He's been able to pop to the basket and also hit the free throw.
28 points for Christian. And it's Naperville North with the 2-point lead. Opening seconds here in this third overtime. Sellout crowd. Certainly getting its money's worth here tonight. The number 1 seeded Redhawks and the number 2 seeded Huskies. Mike Burke pulls up on the free throw line, leaves it short. Rebound to Buckley.
That is a great example of how important Gerald Norrie's 5 fouls are. Mike Burke always gets a breather with Gerald Norrie coming in to spell him. He fouls out. He can't do that. And Mike Burke is short on his free throw. He's short on that. He's been short, I believe, his last 3 shots. He's tired. So the Huskies are gaining more strength.
Sean Jones hits the bucket for Naperville North. And it's a 4-point Husky lead. Picked off by Buckley. 1:40. And North will run some clock here. They lead it by 4. And Jones gets fouled by Sandora, and Matt has fouled out. Matt Sandora, the 6'4" senior, fouls out with 2 points. Certainly not one of Matt's better performances, but what a gutsy performance. With 1:37 left to play in the third overtime, Steve, Naperville North opened up to a 4-point lead.
And again, both coaches used the full 30 seconds for the replacement player. Utilized it as a short timeout. That 4-point spread, Mark, is the largest lead we've had since 46-42 with 2.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 2.5 minutes left in the game. It was 46-42 Naperville Central. Before that, a 5-point spread. Central led 41-36 right at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And we now have a 5-point spread the other way for the Huskies. We have played almost 15 minutes of basketball with a lead no larger than 4 points until just now.
Jones makes both free throws. He has 13. Turnquist for 3, leaves it short. Rebound to Naperville North, and they are smelling a victory here tonight. Christian, and he gets fouled. Mike Burke picks up the foul. That's his second. Listen to this Husky crowd. Well, just a perfect example that time of how much Mike Burke is laboring.
Larry Christian just went past him like he wasn't even there. Mike could do nothing about it. He's that fatigued. He's bent way over at the free throw line, gasping for air right now. I'm not sure Turnquist's three-pointer was exactly what Central wanted to do last time down court. Still a minute and a half. You can have plenty of time to work the ball around. Instead, he forced it up, and now North was looking for the biggest lead of the night for either team.
30 points for Christian. It's an 8-point North lead. First spin around, won't go, rebound to Jones. And a foul in the backcourt. That's going to be 5 fouls on Kevin Phil. Pembroke is going to get called, I'm sorry, with the foul. That is Pembroke's 5th. So Aaron leads with 2 points. He had that early on in this ballgame. 68-60 in favor of Coach Lindo's Huskies, and now Sean Jones at the line for one of a bonus. The Redhawks 26-2. The Huskies 24-3. Free throw is good by Sean Jones.
I think all Martin Lindo had to do was mention 11 of 30 on Wednesday night. Here in this third overtime, they are 9, count it, 10 for 10 from the free throw line. And that's going to do it right there and over and back. Kevin Phil stepped on the out-of-bounds line, Mark, as he went to throw it in bounds. Scott Curious did something he hasn't done all night. He started up court, turned around to put pressure on Turnquist, and Phil double-clutched and stepped on the line when he went to throw it in.
And now Collins, in desperation, fouls Larry Christian. Certainly not the one you want to foul, but at this point, you pretty much have no choice. Collins is second. And here's Christian back at the line. Christian leading everybody with 30. He's got 31.
That is 17, I believe.
1:10 left to play. In the third overtime, Huskies by 11.
17 free throws for Larry Christian. Unofficially. Make that 18.
32 points. Darnheim's three is way off, and it goes out of bounds to Naperville North. And with 1 minute and 3 seconds left to play, play for Coach Lindo, you're going to be wanting to looking for that jacket. Taking off that overcoat, maybe nice little superstition.
He may not mind if he doesn't find his jacket again. The way this one is turning out. Bob Stern, obviously not exactly happy with the shot selection his squad has taken here in this third overtime, Mark. They got down by 4 after the free throws by Christian and Jones, and they somewhat kind of forced some long shots up from that point, and it's just gotten out of hand now. And give Norris credit, 12 of 12 from the line here in 2 minutes of this third overtime. Unbelievable. For a team that only made 11 free throws an entire game on Wednesday night.
And Naperville Central has yet to score here in this triple overtime. 1 minute and 1 second left to play. We were tied at 60 going into this triple overtime, and right now with 1 minute and 1 second left to play, it's 72-60 in favor of the Huskies. And it looks like for Coach Lindo's Huskies, the third time around is going to be the charm.
Third time indeed. They have been to this game, this sectional championship, twice, 1989 and 1992, and came away a little less than satisfied both those times. Came up on the short end, and it looks like this time they are going to advance to to the Sweet 16. On the other hand, Naperville Central earned its first sectional title last season, getting to that super sectional game that we've touched on so many times. But great, great basketball in the city of Naperville in the last 4 or 5 seasons, Mark. Really, two schools that are known more for their baseball and football have really come on in their basketball programs as well.
Certainly the DuPage Valley Conference is going to get a heck of a lot more respect. St. Charles in there. Wheaton Warrenville South. That three is no good. Rebound to Jerry Hairston. And a jump ball situation in the backcourt. Jason Buckley is going to come into the ball game here. Hairston will come out. 53 seconds to go in this, the third overtime. Still three is short. Buckley up to Carius with the open layup. Carius with 8. A 14-point lead. Collins is short. Christian gets the rebound. Half a minute to play, and Kevin Thill has just fouled out of this game. So you see, it's almost like a boxing match. They have taken it the distance. They're both going in the 15th round here. And it was Naperville North finally standing at the end.
Larry Christian, guess who, going to the free throw line again here. People are going to look at the final score here and think it was just a mismatch, unless they look to see that it was triple overtime, and just wonder what the heck happened in that third overtime. Central just kind of has run out of gas here, which is the thing that we thought would not happen with the depth of their bench. But tonight they got in foul trouble, and their shot selection here in the triple overtime has not been very good, and the Huskies, give them credit, have hit just about every free throw.
Collins is going to get called for the foul as he shoves Carius down. Collins' third personal foul. And Coach Lindo is going to start using his bench here. 21 seconds left to play. Albert Navasa in the game. Also into the game, Justin Riva, a 6-foot junior.
Scott Carius is getting a little impatient. It's about the 5th time he's walked up to the free throw line to shoot it, but he doesn't mind as Larry Christian gets a hug and high five from his coach and teammate, the man tonight for Naperville North.
34 points for Larry Christian. He leads his Naperville North Huskies to a sectional championship and the right to go to NIU for the DeKalb Super Sectional. 76-60, Naperville North with its biggest lead. No good. Here comes Naperville Central. Collins launches up a 3. It's no good. Nevada was out of bounds for the Huskies. Both teams going to its bench. Number 55, Eric Booth, into the ball game for Naperville North. 11 seconds to play. And it looks like Collins is going to get fouled. So Naperville North moving on. They will play the winner, I believe, of the Elgin Sectional between Conant and Schaumburg in the DeKalb Super Sectional.
The North band starts to celebrate. Jason Buckley also comes out of the game. And a lot of hugs on both sides of the scorer's table. Tremendous season for basketball in the city of Naperville is going to come to a close for the Naperville Central Redhawks. Naperville North going to continue on and be now one of the 16 finalists here in the state tournament. And they hope that there'll be more good things to come, but definitely a culmination right now of basketball in Naperville in 93-94 occurred here tonight. That's going to do it.
So that's it. As Naperville North has won the East Aurora Sectional by knocking off the #1 seed and their crosstown rival, the Naperville Central Redhawks, and Larry Christian is on top. Larry Christian finishes the night unofficially with 34 points. And he certainly did the job from the free throw line. Naperville Central, and what a job that team has done this season. All they did is go 26-3, undefeated in a very tough DuPage Valley Conference. Mike Burke had 15 points. Mike Darnheim had 15 for the Redhawks. Tyler Turnquist and Kevin Phil, each in double figures as well with 10 points. Larry Christian, the big guy, an all-state soccer performer.
East Aurora Athletic Director Cliff Pencil addressing the crowd. In case you couldn't exactly hear what Cliff Pencil was saying there, Tuesday night in DeKalb at Northern Illinois University for the Super Sectional. The Huskies are the 1994 East Aurora Sectional champions, and they will face, as we mentioned, either Conant or Schaumburg, whoever came out on top there in the Elgin Sectional tonight as well.
Larry Christian with 34 points, Sean Jones with 15, Jason Buckley and Scott Carius each with 8 points, Conrad Jackie with 6. We'll take this timeout. Steve and I will come back and wrap up this sectional final game. Naperville North wins it 76-60. We're back right after this timeout.
Okay, for the last time. This is your head. This is your head when you don't wear a safety belt. Any questions?
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
The Great American Low-Fat Pig-Out is a daily of foods that may lessen your risk of cancer. In other words, you can pig out on peaches or perhaps in poultry. In fact, the list of foods you can enjoy is very it's endless. It'll be a part of the American Cancer Society's low-fat pig-out. Because if you don't start eating right, that could be all, folks. Join the fight.
in a cold sweat. She remembered that she'd gone to a...
Back here at East Aurora, where Naperville North has just defeated Naperville Central in triple overtime, 76-60. As we all catch our breath, we got exuberant Coach Mark Lindo of the Naperville North Huskies. And Coach, before the game, the mindset, what did you tell this team knowing that 2 games earlier this season, they fell a little bit short to the Redhawks?
Well, we felt we were in pretty good shape, even though we had fallen short, because, as you guys know, we were in both games down the stretch, and we just really felt it was our time, and we thought that, you know, we've been making some big plays in some close ball games, and we did that again tonight. I think that one thing that we've really gotten through to our kids is handle the peaks and valleys, the ebbs and the flow of the game, and I tell you what, you know, when we got behind against Batavia, we didn't panic. When we got behind against St. Charles, we didn't panic. We really didn't. And when they came out of the chute in the second half, again, we really didn't panic. Our guys stayed with it, and we made all the plays down the stretch.
I was going to mention maybe the next couple of days you certainly don't have to practice free throw shooting. Larry Christian did a heck of a job tonight.
Larry really took over the game. He's just an outstanding young man. He's a national honor student. He's 4th in his class. He's a 31 ACT. He's an all-state soccer player. You know, what can you say about the young man? He's just a joy to coach, and he's a privilege to coach. And we have a whole bunch of people, guys, that, you know, we said last June we're going to do something really special, and we're in the midst of a 25-3 season. We're in the final 16 in Illinois, so we're off to a pretty good start. And, you know, we're going to NIU to play basketball with the dream of being one game away from the mushroom. But I'll tell you what a tremendous basketball game, and what a tremendous team that Bob Sturr has. He is an outstanding coach. They're an outstanding conference champion, a deserving one. And it was really a privilege for me and for our coaching staff and players to be able to compete against his team tonight.
Steve Moga, some final thoughts.
Coach, you touched on the 2 games, Batavia and St. Charles. You think that played a big part in preparing your team? You've had some close games where they haven't.
Steve, I think that's really a good point. That's something that we did talk to our team about. We thought maybe during our good stretch in December and January, we were winning games by too big of margins. And I was looking for some close games, to be honest with you. And, you know, we had a close one against Glenbard South just a few weeks ago in the conference. And I think they've been beating everybody by double digits lately. And we told our guys that, you know, we felt if we could build some kind of lead on them late, that they might panic just a bit. And we weren't able to do that till the third overtime, or however many overtimes we played. And I think when we got up by 6, I think there was still 2.5, 2:20 to go, and I think they went to the 3-point game a little bit quicker than Coach Sturr would have liked them to.
Yeah, that was one thing we obviously noticed. Once you started hitting your free throws, you hit all your free throws in that third overtime. You hit more, as a matter of fact, in the third overtime than you did in the entire game on a Wednesday night.
I don't know if he wants to hear that.
Yeah, I was going to say, how much of that did you discuss with your team beforehand?
Well, first off, nothing in this tournament run for us makes any sense. You can't analyze any of it except for that we just have found a way to win. But, you know, yesterday after we shot so poorly from the free throw line on Wednesday, we shot all of about 3 or 4 minutes of free throws. I mean, we didn't address it. We didn't go back to the line and say, well, we better shoot 20 minutes. We just, you know, it was almost an afterthought. We kind of walked through some things and worked on breaking their pressure and worked a little zone offense. And then we just kind of finished up, okay, free throws. I mean, way less regimented than normal. But we decided, you know, Coach Hayhurst made a great suggestion. He said, just leave it. And we did. And I guess we're smart. I don't know.
No added pressure, obviously, by focusing on that point. And Larry Christian was 20 of 23 from the line.
Well, we taught him how to do that. Just that, you know, we talked about Larry before, and every time he went to the line, it was just bottom of the net, you know. I thought he was going to win the game with one of those heaves before, especially with 1 second. That thing sat on the back iron. That was incredible. But every play of the game, I mean, I think these people here are as exhausted as the players, but I don't think we're going to take our team and work them out 2 hours tomorrow morning.
What about, let's go back to the end of regulation where Scott Carius, I don't believe, put up a shot the entire game, and he buries that 3 to send you into the first overtime.
Scott is a very good shooter, and he's hit some big shots for us in the tournament. And I took Scott on the bench at one particular point and said, Scott, you're not even looking at the basket. And we were disappointed in that. But he got a good look when they jumped at Larry at the end of regulation, and it rattled in a little bit, but it got down, and I think that really picked us up. Obviously, it picked us up. And how about Durnheim for them? I mean, I thought we had him a couple times. I don't know which overtime it was, but he buried one. I almost kicked myself a little bit, and I told our coaches this during the game. When we were up 3 in the second overtime, was that when Durnheim tied it in the second one?
Second one, yeah.
You know, I put on, we had gone with our bread and butter, our half-court man-to-man, basic overplay defense. We adjusted, and we said, okay, don't guard Phil, don't guard Sandora, help on the inside. and then we went up 3, and I got greedy as a coach, and I called a trap on the baseline. And we made a good trap on the first pass. They kicked it out weak side. We didn't adjust. They kicked it back to Darnheim, and he buried it. And, you know, I was kicking myself saying, Lindo, why didn't you just stay with what got you there? But the kids picked me up in the third overtime, and you know, I thought we got ahead in every overtime, and I thought that was really big as well.
Is your dry cleaning bill going to be kind of big since you seem to take off your jacket now during the game, and that seems to give you some victories? Yeah.
Well, you know, first off, I've never really thought about taking my jacket off. A reporter asked me the other night, why you take your jacket off? I said, it's hot in here. Okay? But tonight we got down 5. I said, man, he wants to make some story out of this. I'll take it off and see if we can rally. So, you know, maybe we'll try that again sometime if we get behind. I hope we don't have to try it on Tuesday night. It'd be nice to win one easy, but I'll tell you what, we would relish the chance to get there, God willing, any way we possibly could. We've just really been a blessed team, and we got a bunch of kids with heart and character, and we're just really privileged to coach them.
One additional thing there towards the end of regulation, Mark mentioned you had your coat off, and you got the crowd going, got your team back into it yourself. You turned around and motioned to everyone. You were down, I believe, by 4 at that point.
You know, Steve, that's something that I've done a little bit on purpose here the last couple weeks, even the regular season. And I think our kids have really responded to that. I mean, the students in the bleachers, and you know, some people were upset that we didn't have this whole side like we did the other night, because we had this side rocking. But I was glad to have those people right behind us, and I think they really responded to, you know, my exhortation to them and to our players. And you know, it was incredible to me down the stretch too. And the officials were just doing their job, but they kept telling our players to sit down. And I you know, during the game, I made the point. It's pretty ironic that 4,000 people can come to a high school basketball game, and the IHSA wants people to cheer and stand and shout and buy tickets, but the players that have the most invested in it are supposed to sit on their hands, and, you know, it doesn't make sense. But we'll see.
Coach, we'll let you get back in the locker room, collect your voice, and we'll see you on Tuesday night. Congratulations once again.
Thanks, guys. It's going to be nice to get a chance to say hello to our team. I haven't seen him for a while. Thanks.
Steve Mokas with Final Thoughts. Coach Lindo, what a job for his Huskies.
Outstanding job, obviously, both sides of the ball tonight, Mark. What a great night for basketball in the city of Naperville and the whole Aurora, Naperville area. East Aurora was a gracious host, an outstanding host for the sectional tournament, and just the game we expected, and maybe even a little bit more. We knew it was going to be a highly contested game. We knew 2 outstanding teams were going to battle right down to the wire, and they went to the wire and then some here tonight. And you know, for a game that was of this magnitude, for the city of Naperville, for these 2 high schools, that's exactly the way you wanted. That's the way it should have been. The most at stake ever when these 2 teams have met, and that was it tonight.
Couldn't agree more. So that's the story here from East Aurora as Naperville North moves on. They knock off Naperville Central in triple overtime, 76-60. For Steve Moga, I'm Mark Kruger. Hope you've enjoyed it. So long, everybody. So that's it. As Naperville North has won the East Aurora Sectional by knocking off the #1 seed and their crosstown rival, the Naperville Central Redhawks, and Larry Christian is on top. Larry Christian finishes the night unofficially with 34 points, and he certainly did the job from the free throw line.